Kitty, no, you'll get shocked. Easy, little one. Let me help. There. All better.
No one noticed the signal at first. Not because it was weak, not because it was hidden, but because the galaxy was loud. The diplomatic relay above Kepri Station processed over 3 trillion packets of data every standard hour. Trade confirmations, military telemetry, atmospheric corrections, cultural exchanges, emergency beacons that never quite became emergencies. The signal that would unravel everything arrived like a whisper in a storm, identical to background noise, perfectly timed, repeating. At first, the system flagged it as a loop error, a single compressed burst, no sender ID, no encryption variants, no language markers, just one phrase, return her. The automated filters categorized it as a glitch and buried it under a stack of self-correcting anomalies. That would have been the end of it, except the signal did not decay. It repeated every 11 seconds. Exactly. Dr. Lyra Vance noticed the pattern on her 3rd sleepless cycle. She had been transferred to Kepri Station as part of a quiet psychological research exchange. One human behavioral specialist among hundreds of xenoneurologists, linguists, and threat analysts. Her job was simple in theory. Observe cross-species juvenile bonding behaviors among recently contacted apex species. In practice, it meant watching cubs, alien cubs, predator cubs, the kind that made security officers rest their hands closer to sidearms and caused ambassadors to speak in careful, measured tones. Lyra had never been afraid of them. That alone made her unusual. She noticed the signal because she had been running a side analysis on cub stress responses, monitoring station-wide fluctuations in pheromonal output, vocal frequency shifts, neural resonance shifts. One cub in particular, specimen K7, species designation Verikai, had shown irregular readings since her reassignment. The cub was agitated. Not violently, not fearfully, deliberately. Lyra cross-referenced the timestamp. Every time the signal pulsed, her terminal chimed again. Return her. Lyra leaned back in her chair slowly. That's not a glitch, she murmured. The Verikai cub was small for predator standards. 6 limbs, downy dark fur along its spinal ridge, eyes too large for its skull. It had been designated as non-lethal under controlled conditions, though everyone involved knew that designation was provisional at best. Lyra had been assigned to K7 3 months earlier. She hadn't chosen it. The cub had chosen her. It had been during a routine observation window. Lyra had entered the habitat with 2 handlers, standing behind the shield line as the cub explored a new enrichment structure. When the others left, the cub had not followed. It had turned and walked to the barrier and pressed its head against the glass, exactly where Lyra stood. The handlers laughed nervously. Imprinting behavior, one said. Probably mistook you for a feeding authority. But the cub had done something no Verikai cub had done before. It had waited. Hours passed. Lyra eventually left. The cub did not move. From that day forward, K7's neural markers spiked only when Lyra was present. Cortisol levels dropped, aggression indexes flattened, neural retention tripled. Against protocol, she was assigned full-time. Against wisdom, she accepted. Lyra disappeared 12 cycles ago. No alarms, no breach, no distress call. Her quarters were intact. Her access credentials were used properly. Her last known location was the Verikai habitat. Security assumed error. Then the signal intensified. Return her. The phrase now appeared in 73 languages. Then all of them, simultaneously. The diplomatic council convened an emergency session. "This is an automated loop," the chair being insisted, an echo from a corrupted node. A Verikai elder present in holographic projection disagreed. "That is a call, and it is not automated." They traced the signal's origin. Not a ship, not a relay, not even a device. The signal originated from inside the cub. K7 sat at the center of its habitat, perfectly still. Sensors detected neural output at levels consistent with a fully grown apex. Impossible. Cubs could not generate directed broadcast cognition. Unless taught, unless bonded, unless broken. The handlers refused to enter the habitat. The cub lifted its head. The broadcast repeated, "Return her." A new subsignal piggybacked on the phrase, raw emotion, unfiltered, panic, grief, determination. A human emotion signature. The council turned slowly toward the human delegation. "We did not teach it this," the ambassador said quietly. The Verikai elder's voice dropped. "No," it said, "she did." They found Lyra on a moon that did not officially exist, a null-class body beyond mapped lanes, wrapped in gravitational anomalies. Her shuttle had landed intact, guided by a navigation path no known system recognized. She was alive. Barely. The moon was toxic to most known species. Radiation storms scoured the surface in cycles. The atmosphere shifted unpredictably. Survival odds were mathematically impossible. Unless someone guided her. Unless something watched. Security footage from the shuttle revealed the truth. Lyra had not fled. She had followed. A secondary signal, private, undetected, had appeared in her terminal days before her disappearance. A soft repetition, a pattern she recognized. K7 had called her, not in words, in need. The cub knew something the station did not. A Verikai maturation event, rare, catastrophic, and lethal if unmediated. The cub's neural lattice was collapsing under accelerated cognitive growth triggered by emotional bonding. Without intervention, it would burn itself out. Lyra knew the signs. She had found ancient Verikai records, fragmented, forbidden, describing the anchor. A bonded caretaker who stabilized the cub's mind during transition. A role no Verikai would accept. A role only a human would try. She left knowing she might not return. She left knowing the cub would survive if she did. They brought her back. The shuttle emerged from fold space trailing fire and alarms. Medical teams rushed forward as the bay doors sealed, but the cub did not wait. It broke containment. Walls crumpled, shields failed, alarms screamed. Security raised weapons. The Verikai elder raised a hand. "Do not," it said. "This is judgment." The cub ran, not toward the humans, toward the medbay. It reached Lyra's side as they lifted her onto the table. It pressed its head to her chest, trembling. The signal stopped. Every screen across the station went silent. Lyra's heart rate stabilized. The cub exhaled. When Lyra awoke, the galaxy had changed. The Verikai declared humans bond-capable. Apex species across known space reevaluated human threat classifications, not because humans were violent, but because they were willing. Willing to suffer. Willing to stay. Willing to answer when something small and dangerous whispered, "Please don't leave." The council rewrote its laws. No cub would ever be separated from a bonded human again. And deep within Capri Station, in a habitat now twice reinforced and carefully redesigned, a cub slept peacefully, one claw wrapped around a human hand. The signal never repeated, because the demand had been answered.